In Iru.
And I'm Terry Longwood. Join me for sports later on in the news.
The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Good evening, this is TVWAN News. I'm Jasmine Iru.
And I'm Terry Longwood. Join me for all the sports later on in the news.
In this edition, defense agreement debated in Parliament, tourism SMEs 2-year Powerball, and CRU to run junior rugby clinic. The Directorate for Mental Health and Social Change is moving forward with the government recognizing the position that the mental health services is being taken up within the health services. Chairman of the board of the DMHASC, Cardinal Sir John Ribat, said this is the greatest movement that has happened, and he applauded the government to recognize this. He said this during the official launching of the program last month in Port Moresby.
On 31st May 2023, the Directorate of Mental Health and Social Change board members and staff were graced with the presence of the Minister for Health and HIV/AIDS, Dr. Lino Tom, who officiated a number of initiatives at the APEC House in Port Moresby.
And there's a rise of this bizarre form of social issues that we witness in our society today. And seeing a very energetic group of people this morning gives me a bit of hope, because I feel that the amount of work that needs to be done out there is quite big.
Dr. Tom referred to a recent meeting he attended in Geneva, in which he witnessed the prominence that was given to mental health during that meeting by WHO.
Now, because we've just moved on from addressing COVID, and a lot of our workers, health workers, have actually been, left in isolation. A lot of them had to go all through this mental trauma, and even physical trauma from their families, so to speak. And they've realized that mental health is an important issue that needs to be addressed, especially for health workers, during these times. And I think equally so, I think we, as a government, we really need to give this prominence to mental health.
Dame Carol Kidu, who also addressed the gathering, emphasized on getting rid of stigma of mental health in the communities.
Mental health has a stigma to it, still in Papua New Guinea, and people and families that are dealing with mental health issues feel that stigma and shame. It's nothing to be ashamed of. And the second message that I wanted to put across today was that mental health affects everybody, not just those who are medically and clinically have mental health issues.
Dame Carol went on to say that today we face difficult times with the intersection with the traditional and rapid social change, and we're not being able to keep up with it. It also brings enormous stress to individuals and families. Besides the plaque of the Beautiful Mind Center, there was also the launch of the National Mental Health Hotline and a mini van for the mental health services. Frida Kana, TV1 News.
The supplementary immunization activity rollout in Rabaul district of East New Britain ends this week, and parents have been urged to get their children immunized. The Rabaul district health team are appealing to families to bring their children for immunization. Parents have been reminded that their children's health is too precious and that vaccines are free, safe and effective in keeping them healthy. The district health team says children in the target population in the community still needed to be immunized and were not reached due to various factors such as the wet season and in-house issues. The health team have strategized to go door to door before the week ends. Acting Speaker of Parliament Connie Iguan has clarified that under Section 108(1) of the Constitution, the Speaker is responsible for upholding the dignity of Parliament, maintaining order and regulating its proceeding, administering its affairs, including the precincts of Parliament. Iguan made this clarification in Parliament today after a media outlet published an editorial stating that media were barred from entering Parliament precincts.
Acting Speaker of Parliament Connie Iguan has clarified that access to some parts of the Parliament precincts are for different purposes, and media personnel must educate themselves of such and not walk into the Parliament grounds on their own accord. He stated that the Chair is aware of Section 51 in regards to freedom of rights to information and Section 52 of the freedom of movement, but urged the media to educate themselves correctly of such laws.
The Chair does not, in its administrative decisions, restrict any media organization from exercising rights under Section 46 of the Constitution regarding freedom of expression and publication. Thank you.
The acting Speaker further mentioned that he will be issuing directives to visitors, including media personnel, to determine which area of Parliament precincts will be allowed and which will be kept out of bounds. Susan Oriape, TVWAN News.
Chairman of the Permanent Parliamentary Committee on Foreign Affairs, International Trade, Immigrations and Defence, Belden Nama, took to stand on the floor of Parliament today, the 14th of June, to give his approval and acknowledgement of the PNG-US Defence Cooperation Agreement. Nama says this is the best agreement the country has ever signed. Outspoken parliamentarian and chairman of the Permanent Parliamentary Committee on Foreign Affairs, International Trade, Immigrations and Defence, Belden Nama, is confident with the PNG-US Defence Cooperation Agreement. Nama stated that it was the best agreement the country has ever signed on the floor of Parliament today.
While my committee, the Permanent Parliamentary Committee on Foreign Affairs, International Trade, Immigrations and Defence, being got preview along this agreement, but by just looking at it and following the Prime Minister on the statement, I believe this is the best agreement that our country has ever entered into. It's the best agreement in the sense that the United States of America will help us build our force. Right now, our force readiness is not there.
He said a reality check needed to be in place as the only country within the region that is sharing a common border with the most populist Muslim country.
Are we ready as a country? You see, is the defense force ready with policy and legislation? Where is the defense force posted? How do we see our defense force aligned with the Vision 2050?
He said the Australian agreement was never debated. However, the question still stands as to how the Defence Cooperation Agreement will help the country.
If we had our defense white paper signed prior to entering into this agreement, and goes to the Foreign Affairs Department, have we got our Foreign Affairs white paper signed? I believe not. So in terms of policy and legislative alignment, we are not there yet.
He stated that the United States are using the LB system, a navigation satellite system, and the PNG government, defense and fisheries can enter into the satellite space to have surveillance of territorial waters, land borders, illegal logging that's taking place, illegal fishing taking place, illegal trade and firearm, drugs along the border, human smuggling and more. He said this will also fix the issue of foreign exchange. Prime Minister James Marape commended Nama and other members of Parliament for their recognition and the importance of the PNG-US agreement to the country.
From the outset, let me assure everyone that these two back-to-back agreements signed does not in any way, shape or form compromise our foreign relationship with other nations, closer to home or far from home. We realize, and this is done in complete sync and in harmony with our principle of friends to all, enemies to none.
Several members of parliament spoke against the PNG-US defense agreement. The back-to-back defense agreement, which included the shipwright agreement, was signed on the 22nd of May 2023, despite strong opposition to have it debated first. Member for Yalibu Pangia Peter O'Neill believes the agreement to have no value to the country, questioning how the agreement will build the defense force, navy and help build the air force. O'Neill said there is an assumption of big benefits, but this is not mentioned in the agreement. Governor for East Sepik, Alan Bird, also opposed the agreement. His concerns relate to how much autonomy we have in this agreement.
And I just want to make this point. The United States is pursuing its national interest. Australia is pursuing its national interest. China is pursuing its national interest. So too, Papua New Guinea must pursue its national interest. You can smell him or say, we have an opportunity. And I agree with some of the sentiments raised. I don't want to give up our sovereignty. I'm Mino-like. But at the same time, I want the capability. If there is a world war tomorrow, now suppose you think also you by stop neutral, you are dreaming. That is the reason why we must pursue Papua New Guinea's national interest. We must be able to protect ourselves. Let's be a little bit more proactive, think beyond these framework agreements.
This is TVWAN News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
It was during and after COVID that really motivated me to want to take up life insurance. I think savings is very important, and I think One Talk Delight provides a disciplined approach to savings, and it's a good investment to want to think about the future, because it's always nice to have plans for what you want to do later on.
With you for life.
Enjoying life when we work together, making happy memories that last forever. Hot in talk, young or old, as calories, family meal with home. We'll bring out the smiles, cause it's our favorite from mine. Tennessee cola, scale rice, don't scale price. Tennessee cola, scale rice, don't scale price. Amber, you like it?
More clean, more sweet. Flame natural white sugar. Make more.
From the rich soils of the highlands, the finest coffee has been grown by generations of Papua New Guineans. Expertly blended and roasted with over 80 years of experience, making the finest cup of Nescafe New Guinea blend, PNG's own coffee.
The Toyota JD Hiace bus comes in 14 and 15-seater high-roof luxury model powered by 2.8 liters JD engine for optimal performance output, fuel efficiency and quietness, designed with improved safety features and easy maneuverability for tire steering angle. The Hiace lift suspension and annular frame structure is opted for smooth ride, comfort and safety. Experience the ride on the Hiace bus and experience the Hiace pride, the bus that exceeds all expectations.
Watch World Championship Kickboxing on Fight Sports.
Timbers just starting to bubble up. Here's the leg.
Welcome back. Entrepreneurs from East Sepik Province have benefited from a week-long workshop themed group enterprise development that aimed to equip them with essential management skills and promote gender equality in leadership roles in agribusiness groups. According to Patu Shang, FAO Gender and Youth Inclusion Specialist, who led the capacity building workshop, poor accountability and management are the leading cause of business failure. One of the reasons for the many failures is that women and youths are often not included in leadership positions within groups. The workshop aimed to upskill women and youth in managerial positions, thereby building their confidence to manage the operation of their group's businesses for sustainability. The workshop attracted 48 participants and provided a rewarding opportunity for discussions and a group work as well as presentations on group agribusiness management, group dynamics, financial literacy, and gender and youth inclusion in agribusinesses. The Inclusive Green Finance Policy has been launched. The policy is seen as a pathway to greener economy and for the resilient future. Prime Minister James Marape, who launched the policy, said the Inclusive Green Finance Policy serves as a reminder for all to conduct our business in an environmentally conscious manner.
The Inclusive Green Finance Policy was launched in Port Moresby on Friday, June 9. Keynote Speaker and Prime Minister James Marape encouraged government departments, state-owned enterprises, financial institutions and MSMEs to collaborate and utilize this policy as a foundation for building a green business economy. PM Marape emphasized the policy's importance in addressing climate change and how it will benefit the people of Papua New Guinea. He stressed the need to develop the country's economy in a smarter and climate-resilient manner, fostering low-carbon, inclusive green growth.
And whilst we have minimal carbon footprint, it does not make us be complacent. Rather, we must continue leading in as far as being responsible to the environment that we are stewards of. And so being responsible to the environment calls for all businesses and all human activities to be cognizant on how your activity impacts on the environment.
The Prime Minister commended the green taxonomy, a unique feature of this policy and a first of its kind in the Pacific and Papua New Guinea. Elizabeth Genia, acting governor of the Bank of Papua New Guinea, emphasized the responsibility of financial institutions to integrate environmental and social factors into their investment decision-making processes.
Institutional investors to share in the growth, for example, through investment returns. This potential will receive specific encouragement. Bank of Papua New Guinea and its strategic partners plan a Green Finance Centre at the CEFI office. This centre will provide support to the financial institutions starting on their journey to sustainable growth. For example, the centre will offer support activities including training, technical assistance and design of innovative green lending products.
The launch of the Inclusive Green Finance Policy marks a significant milestone for Papua New Guinea, demonstrating its commitment to building a sustainable and environmentally friendly economy and fulfilling the international commitments to the Alliance for Financial Inclusion under El Sheikh Accord. Salome Vincent, TVWAN News.
Over 300 small to medium entrepreneur-empowered women groups from Moresby South congregated and submitted their acquittals to member for Moresby South, Justin Kachenko. Kachenko said it was the first of its kind initiative in the electorate, especially monitoring and evaluation of the work of women's groups and association. Kachenko said the Moresby South office is supporting MSME initiatives, provided these individuals and groups do training courses in financial literacy. Kachenko added that acquittals will be compiled and submitted to the Department of Implementation and Rural Development Pastor Ruth Moses from the Watch Women Prayer Group said a capital of 10,000 kina was given to Watch Women Prayer to generate income, and with the help of office, the governor for NCD, the group purchased a new truck. The event concluded with the launching of the new truck. A local business in New Ireland province has been operating without electricity for 2 years now. Manager of the Put Treehouse Resort, Wendy Lavarabin, said they advised their guests to charge their gadgets in Kavieng town before making the 20-minute drive out to Put.
The Put Treehouse Resort was once a popular tourist destination owned by the late Ronald Beck, a long-time New Ireland resident from New Zealand. Wendy Lavarabin's family bought the treehouse around 2014, and in 2016 their house was built so they can move to the premises and start construction of their bungalows. With a laid-back atmosphere and crystal-clear turquoise seas, Put was worth the investment for the family from West Coast New Ireland, Morobe and East Sepik. Lavarabin highlighted that the main issue is the constant power outages, which soon led to 2 years of no power when a transformer was damaged at the nearby Kaselok village.
Right now, we don't have power coming inside the premises. Like using solar power in my houses. We are paying a lot of bill, but PNG power long, we plan management lawyer. In the work, take him think or some all by RM request lol people na area put in power going inside lol premises or residential areas, especially along the highway. Na lo town too, some time power stop more than 2 weeks without power. We plus a buying bill, and then we have easy pay. By the time we put in easy pay, na power go off. The time power come back on again, and easy pay plug go finish.
Power lines at Kaselok have fallen down and are lying beside the highway, posing a hazard to locals and road users. Lavarabin is calling on the provincial government and Kavieng DDA to help address the long-standing power issues affecting the maritime province. For now, they advise their guests to charge their gadgets at the Kavieng Hotel or Nusa before enjoying the tranquility of Put Resort. Meantime, Kavieng town has been out of power since 6 a.m. on Tuesday, June 13. PNG Power advised they have run out of fuel. Salome Vincent, TVWAN News.
And now the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.2820 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.2745 US, $0.4024 Australian dollars, €0.2468 euro, and $0.3807 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, cocoa, palm oil, crude oil, and copper closed higher. The rest closed the day lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, the ASX is trading higher, and All Ordinaries is trading higher as well. And that ends the news segment. We will now have regional next. Stay with us.
There's a sense of pride when you're able to do something right, a financial decision that has just really good benefits. With BSP Life Insurance, there's that alleviation of that worry when you pass away. The benefits of the BSP Life Insurance would meet those expenses on behalf of my family. If you're young and you have kids, you owe it to your children to make sure they're not left behind when you pass on.
With you for life. He loves the Maroons. He loves the Blues. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Lager, Bungimyumi.
Right across the nation, we eat snacks crackers. Emi trupla. All get a young plan alapun, only like him snacks crackers. Only make him here, no PNG, one-time lay biscuit company. It's crunchy and tasty. It's irresistible.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo and milk taste and added nutrients, Milo and milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Prime PNG made.
Check out Breaking Weapons Freestyle, each week only on Fight Sports.
Right now, we're facing a man-made disaster of global scale. Our greatest threat in thousands of years, climate change. If we don't take action, the collapse of our civilizations and the extinction of much of the natural world is on the horizon.
Welcome back. New Zealand and Fiji have signed a status of forces agreement to further strengthen the defense relationship between both Pacific partners. Both nations' leaders signed the agreement in Suva today and discussed a range of issues facing the region. A statement of intent was also signed outlining the priorities for defense cooperation between the two nations. The agreed priorities include training, maritime security, and disaster and humanitarian response coordination. The Australian Army is undergoing a major change in how it trains soldiers in Darwin to be ready to serve within the Indo-Pacific region. The Army's focus on training in and around shallow water is part of a shift in the nation's defense strategy, but experts say it shouldn't be seen as a direct response to China's military buildup.
On the Tiwi Islands, just north of Darwin, the Australian Defence Force is changing how it trains, moving from land-based training to in and around shallow waters.
We've seen a fundamental change in where our focus is.
The training previously prepared troops for conflict in Afghanistan, but will now focus on the Indo-Pacific region, where troops would need to navigate beaches and islands, a similar program to that undertaken by US Marines.
With the increasing contested environment that the world is finding itself in, using the 1st Brigade as Australia's primary interactor inside the archipelagic region to our north provides a number of really good options for our government.
We still are infantry soldiers, however we're just adapting to do this in the environment and the geography we live in.
The change involves managing operations from the water too.
This floating command post is an essential part of the 1st Brigade's shallow water operation, and it can also act as a bit of a bridge. Parts of it can fold out, allowing them to transport personnel and equipment across water.
The shift is part of the Defence Strategic Review, which discusses China's military build-up, saying it's occurring without transparency or reassurance to the Indo-Pacific region. But one think tank cautions against drawing conclusions, as this change also enables the ADF to better provide humanitarian aid.
Certainly we shouldn't draw any direct conclusions between China's increasing military build-up and this being a specific response to that.
The Army says the changes could lead to a greater presence in Darwin, with more personnel being assigned to serve in the top end.
Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese today met Henry Puna, the Secretary-General of the Pacific Islands Forum in Canberra. The Prime Minister and Secretary-General will discuss Pacific regionalism and Pacific leaders' priorities as set out in the 2050 strategy for the Blue Pacific continent, including climate change. As the preeminent institution of the Pacific family, the Pacific Islands Forum plays a critical role in bringing Pacific nations together to address shared challenges and opportunities. Thousands of flood-affected property owners along South Australia's River Murray have not registered for free support from the government. The official leading the recovery effort says they're missing out on essential help, although flood victims say finding skilled labourers to help them rebuild hasn't been easy.
Walker Flat found itself in the direct firing line of last summer's devastating River Murray floods.
All the gyprock, obviously all the insulation, the bathroom, the kitchen, all destroyed,
Including Michael Brenton's shack, which has been in his family for decades and wasn't insured. Not interested in jumping through hoops, he's relying on his own craftsmanship.
Well, because I do most things myself, but it still costs a fair bit, Materials aren't cheap these days.
He's not the only property owner going at it alone.
The problem is that we only had just under 1,800 registrations. We were expecting well over 2,000, closer to 3,000, but for whatever reason some people have elected not to register.
The free support on offer includes property assessments and possible demolition work. But registrations for the government-funded service have been low.
It's a genuine offer. It's free. It's not like one of those things that you hear about, if it sounds too good, it's not real. But this is real.
That package is part of $194 million committed by the South Australian and federal governments to respond to the disaster. By May, $148 million had been spent, including $60 million for debris cleanup and another $60 million for road repairs.
The Mid-Murray Council area was one of the worst affected, with thousands of properties inundated with water. And while the river continues to settle, the costs for residents continue to rise.
And you can see inside just the damage and mould.
It's been a long clean-up for Schnez, who lives next door to her elderly parents.
My parents were devastated, seeing everything destroyed. Everything they worked for the last 40 years was being destroyed.
For them, getting workers to come to their house was the biggest struggle.
There's so many people that need it. By the time they get to you, it's a bit late.
Wounds that will need more than time to heal.
After years of labour shortages, things have turned around for one of Queensland's biggest fruit and vegetable growing regions. There's hope it could help bring down the price of your salad.
It's all hands on deck in this North Queensland packing shed, getting the watermelon crop to market.
We've had a massive influx of working holiday makers, our backpackers coming into the region, so the community's starting to really feel alive.
For the first time in years, fruit and vegetable farms in the Bowen region have the workers they need.
Most of the people you see working behind me now, they all come from different countries. So at the moment, we're bringing people in from East Timor, Vanuatu, Solomon Islands, and there's also some Chinese people there as well.
Last year we had reduced numbers of backpackers that were entering into the country, whereas now we're up to our pre-COVID glory days, I suppose.
It's a welcome relief for farmers who've worked hard to create better working environments to attract the staff they need.
I don't think I've had to work so hard on my business in the last 3 years and rather than in my business. It's been a complete mindset change, but if we didn't do it, we probably wouldn't be in business today.
The abundance of labour could not have come at a better time for this Northern Food Bowl. Weather conditions are favourable and production is ramping up. And should also be a win for consumers.
We're hopeful that they will be able to get some, beautiful produce at a reduced price.
At a time when every dollar counts.
And now the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. And that ends the news segment. Sports is next with Terry. Stay tuned.
It's in the highs and in the lows. It's in the big things and the small things too. It's hard to put into words, but you'll know it when you see it. Terrain Tamer, when quality counts.
Remember the joy of playing with your toys as a child? At Money Plus, we believe that every small business deserves a chance to build and grow. That's why we offer asset financing.
Our chance to building something new, to see a different point of view. With Money Plus, we're ready to go.
Mipla halivim wari belong you.
My kids have the soil in their hand almost 1 year. When I started applying the oil every night, the soil dried up.
The Great Crusade of Faith and Miracles, with the free distribution of blessed oil. Join us at Sir John Guy's Indoor Stadium on June 18th at 10 a.m. Call 7422-9960 or 7899-8678.
You've got to load your gun and you've got to fire away. It's his last chance, Freddie, here. He knows that.
Why is it so hard for New South Wales to win at Suncorp Stadium?
No, nothing's impossible.
Here they come. Pass from Martin, there's the Penrith combination. A pass for Cobo, it's another one for Queensland. A reward for sustained pressure.
See the toughest fighters in MMA in a whole new light.
I had to show my true heart.
MMA 30 is your window into their lives.
These are my horses, my childhood house.
My judo is a huge asset for me.
An exclusive all-access pass.
We're here for his bachelor party.
With your favorite stars of the sport.
I would be known as one of the greatest.
Watch MMA 30, only on Fight Sports.
Tasmania is Australia's smallest state, lying about 240 kilometres south of the mainland. Join me on my journey through this beautiful island state as I experience the produce, people and culture that makes this an unforgettable island.
Thank you for staying with us. The Cricket PNG Santos Love Cricket team are in Kerama town in the Gulf province to launch the program for 2023. Cricket PNG's Game Development Manager, Margaret Sibona, will meet with Kerama Open member Thomas Opa with his Provincial Education Board Advisor to launch the 2023 Santos Love Cricket program. The program will run across 16 schools, including the Sir Torea Primary School in Yokia Village. In the lead-up to the launch, facilitators will conduct new hire training for 5 new Santos Love Cricket staff managed by Cricket PNG, and over the next fortnight will present cricket and life skills sessions. The Santos Love Cricket program recently won the Community Sports Initiative Awards 2023 from the SP Sports Awards. Cricket PNG Under-19 Garamuts men's cricket team, supported by Pacific All Sports, put behind their loss against Fiji on Tuesday to comfortably win over Western Samoa in their second match of the ICC EAP World Cup qualifier tournament in Darwin. The Garamuts won by 104 runs. Man of the match was top scorer Doncy Tom of Parry Village with 81 runs. Here are the match highlights.
Left arm leggy with the right arm and just crunched through the covers from Doncy. It's great chasing it off. Will he get there?
Yeah, great shot. Full toss, just over pitched and just punched for an easy 2 out there. It's good fielding, it's good throw.
Here we go, Matthew Sello coming in. Is that a catch out here? He's hit it over point. It's a good chase out here. Oh, it's a great dive.
For a while now, so it's got to make sure they... Oh, it's a good shot. Is that a catch out here? Deep point. Oh, it's dropped. Struck very well from So. Great start there from James, right on the money. In to the right-handed Sojo. That's a single there. Just a little inside edge and little scampers through for a single. So that's...
The BSP School Cricket Program is locked in this Thursday for the Q2 BSP Blast that commences from week 9 of the school week around Papua New Guinea. School names and venues will be announced on Cricket PNG's social media page. ICC Level 1 Coaching Program, Women Cricket PNG, has successfully trained 23 ICC Level 1 coaches and are in the process of inviting and identifying 5 participants to travel to Vanuatu to sit for the Level 2 course later this year. Limited spaces are available for ICC Level 1 course, and Cricket PNG will supply all facilities, making training easier by inviting ex-levers and interested female cricketers to Cricket PNG House at Amini Park this week to register in person. Papua New Guinea Kickboxing Federation is making a comeback after a 4-year absence. With the successful hosting of a national fight event, the federation has set sight on a couple of international bouts. PNG Boxing Federation President Stanley Nandex praised the clash of the regions fight as a huge success. Nandex says invitations are being received from all around the world as the federation aims to take the first selected fighters for the European Championships in Italy from October 26th to 29th and another set for France in 2024. In getting things in tune, the Kickboxing Federation will send 4 officials to a world seminar for referees. This is a lift for the code of boxing in the country.
A good turnout. I'm so impressed to see a lot of also female taking part as well, and I think it will be a first time to take a team of MMA fighters, and I think we already have some fighters here in PNG that we would probably showcase.
PNG boxer Junior Raka believes that he will have a strong chance to own the ring if he trains in the Philippines ahead of his fight in Vietnam next month. He has been training at his local gym in Port Moresby. Philippines as one of the world's best boxing training facilities. To train there, he is now seeking sponsorship in order to get there and ready himself for Vietnam. He has begun efforts to raise funds, starting with a fundraising dinner. Raka thanked Zomin Group of companies for his continuous support in the past few years. He extends his gratitude also to Regional MP for Autonomous Region of Bougainville, Peter Samalali Jr., for expressing support. The PNG boxing champion anticipates he will proudly fly the red, black and gold flag in Vietnam. Pepsi Capital Rugby will be running a junior rugby clinic from June 26 to July 5th this year at the Baba Rugby Park. The clinic is mainly targeting school children aged between 12 to 17 to learn basic rules of the game. Capital Rugby Union is again leading the way in encouraging young boys and girls to take up sport, in this case rugby union, as an alternative pathway to the human development process and to build strong character and discipline at an early age. As part of its new strategic development pathway programs, CRU will be running a junior rugby clinic for school-age boys and girls between 12 and 17 at Ababa Rugby Park during the school term holidays from June 26 to July 5, 2023. CRU Technical Officer Parnas Bokwik said this clinic is important as they introduce the young boys and girls to the basics of the game at an early age.
What we're trying to achieve as a COP is to really grow rugby and start the learning process at an early age. So when they enter the COP in our junior divisions like the under 20s or under 19s, it's just a flow into rugby and there's not a kickstart or you don't have to continue teaching new stuff. So that's the whole purpose of our clinic, to really start our youth young, really get our kids to get involved in sports during the school holidays and get them to know more about rugby before they enter our junior systems.
When making the announcement today, Bokwik gives a snapshot of what the training will entail and how it will be conducted.
Everyone that's participating in coaching and participating in the clinic are required to have level 1. Level 1 coaching in rugby union. So everyone that's participating and teaching your kids at a really high standard. So that's going to be for 5 days. So each kid has 5 sessions. So it's an hour a day for 5 days. And in those 5 days, we cover everything you need to know about rugby.
Newly appointed CRU Women and Junior Coordinator Joanne Lapan is also encouraging young girls to come out and get involved.
Basically, for the women, it has come to our attention that, most women, when we reach that adult, we want to play, but not the junior levels. So we can encourage the younger girls to take part. So when we run more clinics, we encourage more girls and young women to take part in them.
And that's post for now, Jasmine.
Thank you, Terry, and that ends the news tonight. Pleasant evening. Bye for now.
Bye.
The TVWAN News was proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.